How's it going, guys? Today we're in the Tesla, and I wanted to give you guys a quick update on, it's about to hit 10K miles, so I wanted to talk about what's happened in the last 10K miles, what's been really good, has there been problems, just a little reliability update, and just to see how everything in this vehicle has been doing. So we're about to hit to the charging station, and this car does have free supercharging. I know they don't do that anymore. This was ordered early enough to where that was included. So we're going to talk about, we're going to get it on the charger. Hopefully it's a little bit less noisy. So we're going to get it on the charging station, and then I'm going to break down a lot of the stuff that has gone really well in this car and a lot of stuff that could have been a little better. So let's get to it. Okay, we just got to the station. It's charging now. It says it's about 20 minutes to charge. It's actually, one of the things that's really cool is since we've had it, the charging here has gotten a lot faster. And like I was saying before, there's no cost. This was one of the earlier orders of the Model 3 Performance, so they threw in the supercharging. But before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to ELONBUCKS because they have provided me with a whole list and a bunch of items for the interior of this car to really make it look 100 times better. One of my biggest gripes, and you'll see in some of my other videos, was the wood look on the dash. And now that was my personal opinion. A lot of people do like it. I felt like Tesla was rushing to get these cars out, so they were limiting the number of options you can order so they can quickly produce them out of the factory. And one of my least favorite things is, you're buying the Model 3 Performance. It does 0 to 60 in a Tesla rated 3.1 seconds, possibly even faster. You need to have some higher end, some more sporty looking options. And ELONBUCKS has hooked us up with a string of carbon fiber vinyl wraps that we installed ourselves on the inside, and I have a couple install videos I'll link here. But overall, I mean, the steering looks so much better. The entire center console now is fully covered with this carbon fiber vinyl. Not only does it look better, but it does protect, because the earlier I could already tell the gloss black, piano black looking stuff was scratching real easy. And my favorite part is the entire wood dash is now a carbon fiber look. The entire inside looks so much better on this car. Like, it's a night and day difference for me. So a huge shout out to ELONBUCKS. They've got a discount code called ELONBUCKS. I'll link that here as well. So go check out their website, and I'll put that in the description to get yourself a lot of really nice interior upgrades, as well as I even have the wireless charging system, which is so much better than the plug-in. So go check them out. Okay, so now getting on to this video, we're talking about the last 10,000 miles and the reliability. Have we had issues? What's been going on? So to start off the back, I live in Ohio. The winters here are pretty harsh, and one of the things that greatly took a hit was, obviously this is an electric vehicle, it's battery. In the winter months, when it was really cold, it was discharging like almost 10% just sitting in the garage, sometimes more than that sitting outside. It's like ghost discharging. I would be charging, and I'd charge it up fully, and we might not have driven it 3 days in a row, and it'd lose 30 to 40% of its charge just sitting in the garage because of how cold it gets. So that was one thing that was a huge problem for us being in Ohio. Another issue, this again goes to us being in a colder winter months, is these doors, as soon as you open the door, the window comes down a little bit. You can see it, it goes back up. So if I show right here, it goes back up, and those we were having some issues with in the winter, when it was super cold, the passenger one would just fall. Like, we would shut the door and the entire window just fell, and I couldn't tell if the regulator was broken, what was going on. Eventually, it came back up. I had that happen a couple times. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that, but that was a big problem reliability-wise, and that, you know, goes to show it might not be worth driving in the winter if a lot of those problems don't get addressed, because, you know, you don't want to be out parked somewhere and just to come back, you know, 8 hours later, find out your window fell midway through the day because of the temperatures. Another thing I want to knock real quick is when it was really cold, going back to the winter months, the screen actually shut off because of how cold it was, and it was super unresponsive. It just had a black screen with a Tesla logo on it, and it didn't do it until we brought it back into the garage and it got a little warmer. It didn't come back on, so that was a huge scare. I don't know how expensive the screen is. I can't imagine it's cheap, as it's the only screen that controls everything in the vehicle, so that was a huge scare. But that only happened twice, so hopefully that's not a thing that continues to happen, and that's something I'm going to have to monitor, especially coming up in this next winter season. Last thing to kind of touch on the winter, and this is really the last negative that I'm going to have in the reliability aspect, is the door handles. They're kind of like the Lamborghini Huracan. You push in and then pull. When it's iced, when it's super icy out, if the car sits outside, which this is garage, but if it does sit outside during the workday and it snows or rains and then freezes, it pretty much freezes that door handle, even if it's just a few hours. And then you can't actually, there's so much ice that forms over it, you can't actually press it in. You have to chip it away with like an ice scraper or whatever. It's kind of sketchy. You don't want to scratch up your door handle or your paint. So it would have been nice to have a feature where you can either open it from the app, or, if you don't have the app and you have the key card, then you pretty much, it would have been nice for there to be another way to open those door handles. And because, if you're out somewhere and those are frozen, it's kind of a pain to try to get to them. So that would, or even if it had a different door handle design. Now jumping on to a lot of the positives, and honestly, like I said, those are like the main things, but other than that, I mean, this has been bulletproof. There's no engine for, there's no like ICE, there's no gas engine, so there's no oil changes, nothing really breaks down. Like I said, we're hitting 10,000 miles here, and I mean, the only thing I've had to do is top it off with windshield wiper fluid one time, and other than that, there's no gas station stops, there's none of that. And if you have other vehicles in your family to drive long, to drive long distances, if that's what you do, having one of these for your in-town, in-state driving is amazing, because if you get one of the cars with free supercharging, we can sit here, it'll charge the entire car. We got about 20 minutes left, charging wise, and it's free. You don't have to pay for it. And on top of that, you don't have gas stops. If you, like, this one's attached to a Meijer, so if you're going to the grocery, you can, go get your grocery while the car is charging. But that's a huge thing. There's not really any problems, because there's nothing to engine-wise to go wrong. More of the stuff that could go wrong in this car is tech, and so far it's been okay. And really, I kind of addressed, I guess, the big reliability issues, and like I said, I think those go back to being in Ohio and the winters just being harsh. If you live somewhere where the winters aren't like that, you might not experience any of those things. But overall, I mean, this car has been fantastic, and like I said, we're approaching 10,000 miles, which isn't a whole lot of miles for stuff to go wrong, but all the tech has worked great. Every time the car has an update, it gets a little bit smarter. The autopilot works a little better. Updates are making the batteries better. I mean, every part of this car, it's a piece of tech, so with updates, it is improving. And reliability wise, it has been, like I said, pretty much bulletproof, minus a couple of the tech stuff. So I'm curious to see. I'll do another update, maybe at 25,000 or 50,000 miles, whenever those come, just to see if any other electronic components in here have gone wrong, or if any other issues have happened. If the windshield or the windows happen again this winter season, or the screen shuts off, I'm curious to see if that happens again. But I mean, overall, this car has been a blast to drive, very easy to understand. At first, I was not a fan of the center screen, but actually, now that I've driven it a good bit, I like the center screen, because I can just focus on the road, and if I need to see something, it's here, but it doesn't distract me. So I've changed my mind on that. It's been amazing. But like I said, overall reliability has been great, and I'm curious to see how it does as we approach 25,000, 50,000 miles. And I've just been very, very impressed with this vehicle. That's going to wrap up this video. It's a quick one. While we're waiting at the charging station, I thought I'd address some of the big issues we've had, but they haven't been super big. And overall, just the 10K mile experience, any problems, and like I said, primarily positive. Hopefully, curious to see how the next winter months and the next coming seasons do, and I'll do another update at maybe 25,000, 50,000 miles. But like I said, I've been super impressed. Every part of this car has been very, very good. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, hit that like button, check out EVANX. Like I said, if you have a Model 3 or a Model S or a Model X, anything in their lineup, and you want to improve your interior if it looks a little plain to you, or you just don't like some of the features that are included, check them out. Use their coupon code ELONBUCKS. I'll link everything in the description below. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next video.